So sometimes less is more.
Yep. Yeah, what's that like? TikTok? Give me 3 motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Joey
all it
Diaz,
is.
Uncle Joey.
And we're live, cuzzo. Hit him with that intro.
Welcome back to the Electives Podcast. Man, this is a big episode for us. This is the first episode of the new year, and we felt that it would only be right if we do it in the place where it all started.
Bring it back to the basement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Back in the stew, man.
Yes, sir. How do you feel?
I feel good, man. You know, it definitely is a little different coming down here from going to the studio.
Right.
Because I really like where we normally shoot at the art gallery.
Right.
I really like that.
Right.
So but this is nice. I mean, this is
it's nostalgic.
It's from the ground up. This is where we were at. And you see,
sir.
we got the new hoodies.
Yep. So
The
if you
new
can,
hoodies.
please go out and support. We would really appreciate it if you guys just bought a hat or a hoodie. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be anything major, but a hat
not
or a
crazy.
hoodie. We got some new color waves. You know, we
Yeah.
got the nice tan. We got the nice blue hoodies
Yep.
as well. Hats, same thing. Beanies, as you can see.
Yep.
So
Yep, we got it all. These are the Faith Over Fear collection that we put together. So we still have our classic hoodie.
Yep.
You know, the black one, that one's dope. And then now we got these two, man. These are real nice, man. I like
They
them.
are.
I like
They
them.
are. They
we
are.
got the stitching in the front, so it's not the
Press on.
press on, but it is press on in the back.
Yep.
But that's all right. It still looks good.
Yes, sir.
And then and you know, if it fades out, you could just get another one.
There you go. There you go. Supply and demand.
You could just buy another one. You know, so
Yeah.
but yeah, man, how was your holidays, man? You know, we hope everybody had a good holiday too as well, but how was your holidays, man?
Holidays were amazing. I think we briefly had already discussed Thanksgiving on a couple of the last episodes, and then for Christmas we were hosting. So
I remember you said that.
Yeah, my family came over. I had my cousin in town from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him in a long time. He's 7 feet tall,
Dang.
like 360. I mean, he's
Jeez.
a big dude, man.
That's a big dude.
So you got to cook a little extra food when you got somebody that big in your
He
house.
needs his own tray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was super cool, man. Super chill. We played some fun Christmas games, which is something that we had never tried to do, but we tried to implement that this year. You know, do something a little different. And then immediately right after Christmas, my fiance and I we flew to Mexico,
Nice.
to Guadalajara, Mexico.
Nice.
Her cousin was getting married out there. They had an extravagant, beautiful wedding.
That's dope.
It was at a beautiful hotel, man, 3 floors. On the top floor of the roof was actually where the ceremony was held.
Yeah.
The second floor was where the hotel rooms were.
Okay.
And on the third floor was where they had the reception and the food and all of that. And it was just, man, I was really impressed. Really, really impressed.
Yeah, I've seen some some stories or like some TikTok reels over there. It looks nice out there downtown.
Because they would be equivalent to like Chicago.
Oh, okay.
You know, they have 5 million people over there. It's not a small,
there's a lot
that
of
specific
people.
city is not a small city at all. But what about you, man? How was your holiday?
Good, man. I was just just home, so we were here home with the family, spent, Christmas here, and New Year's. So we didn't go nowhere. We were just chilling, hanging out, having all the fam. I cooked on the Blackstone.
Nice.
So
nice. How's that thing smoking?
Oh man, the food is great on there. Yeah, we had smash burgers yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, they were really good.
Nice.
Yeah, so
nice.
I highly recommend the Blackstone, man,
Nice.
because you can still use it. I use it in the garage. So I mean, even though it's cold, I just
There you
put it in
go.
the garage and
Yeah.
just cook something on there.
Yeah.
So it makes it nice and easy, and it's cheaper than going out. Because I mean, man, if you go out with all of us, it's like
It adds up.
$300.
It adds up quick.
So
Adds up real quick.
So yeah, man, it was holidays were good. New Year's was good. How was the break from the podcast?
You know what, man? I missed it. But at the same time, I appreciated it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that we also talk about on the podcast is you have to know when to step away for a little bit. It's good to stay consistent. It's good to keep putting the work in. It's good to, to go above and beyond.
Right.
But there are times where you need to take a step back and just rest.
Yeah.
You need to rest. You need to reflect. You need to recuperate.
Yep.
So, me being away for basically 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks, yeah.
It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And now that, we shoot today, you feel refreshed. Like
Right.
I don't feel, feel exhausted or anything like that. I was excited to come back.
Yeah, yeah.
And just get on the mic.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Yeah, it was a nice little break. I thought about it a lot too. Like I was like, man, we should be shooting, but
Yeah.
you know, it was vacation time, so it was dope. It was a nice little break. You know, got to reflect on the year we had, which was, I mean, it was a dope year, man. Like,
it was.
I can't believe it was a year. Like, I was talking to the wife about it, and she's like, "Man, it was a year," and I was like, "Yeah, well, we started planning in December of 22,
Right.
and then we shot in January.
Yeah.
So then now it's probably officially a year, but I mean, it was a year from the planning stages in December.
Right. And I don't think neither one of us could have imagined that we would have had the amount of guests that we had on and the quality of guests in such a short period of time.
Right.
You know, it's one thing to like shoot for it and aim for it, you know, to aim for the moon.
Yeah.
But then actually pull it off, you know?
Yeah.
And then to know that, okay, well, if we were able to do that, what else can we do?
Right. And that's the question for this year, man. Is like, what else can we do to get better this year? Not only in the podcast, but for ourselves. And then, you know, I don't know if you've been approached, but I think you have. And, you know, I have too, by other people wanting to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're asking for advice. And it's like our biggest piece of advice is you just got to show up, whether it's a week or every 2 weeks. Like, if you show up and you guys actually put time into the product, because I mean, we take a week to try to figure out what we're going to discuss, what value we're going to bring.
Right.
Because that's the other thing we learned is, like, you know, you could be an entertainment podcast, you know, if you're funny.
Right.
You know, or you can, you know, deliver information.
Right.
You know, so those are probably the two routes you can go with for a podcast. For anybody else that's looking for advice, because I mean, that run for the year when I did the reel, I was like, man, like, it went from the basement to basement to basement, and we're like, all the art gallery, then the city studio. Yeah. I mean, it was cool, man. It was cool to watch.
For sure. And, you know, we always say this, but we want to thank every single one of our guests that came on.
Yeah.
You know, from our very first guest with Rome to our very last guest with Tretch.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that, you know, you guys came on and gave us your time of day to talk about a variety of topics. You know, we can't thank you guys enough for doing that. So shout out to every single one of you. We appreciate every single one of you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to you guys. So like we said, man, new year, new goals. Mm-hmm. Do you believe in the whole New Year's resolutions? Like, do you have those? If you do, what are they? If you don't, like.
So like I think when I was younger, you know, I like anybody, right? You kind of fall into these trends. You know, you feel like you want to be a part of them. So when I was younger, yeah. But now that I'm older, I'm fully more conscious and aware of the fact that, you know, just because it's a new year doesn't mean your bills go away, doesn't mean anything goes away. You know, there's certain responsibilities you still have to be taken care of. So it's more, what I think more about when the new year comes is kind of like what we just discussed, which is reflecting. Right. Just reflecting on the year that I've had. And I know that for myself, there's personal goals that I had already that were already in my mind before New Year's, quote unquote, came around.
Yeah.
You know, staying in better shape. You know, continuing to read, continuing to educate yourself, wanting to get married. Right. You know, these are you know, eventually wanting to start a family. Not maybe this year, but in the next coming years.
Yeah.
Those things have always kind of been in my mind.
Right.
So when the New Year's approach, I'm kind of just let me just reset and refocus on making sure that I'm doing the things necessary in order to get there.
Yeah. So you're not doing like, all right, I'm not gonna drink soda this year. You know, like no. you're not doing that.
No, because there's different parts throughout the year where I do that anyway. Right. Where I'll just cut it out. You know, I'll start fasting or whatever the case is.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because I do remember you do fast and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I think honestly, I think it's everything in moderation. You know, sometimes I think the New Year's where people fall short is, or where we've all fallen short is where you have this New Year's resolution of, let's just say, going to the gym January 1st.
Because that's like everybody.
Everybody wants to be in the gym January 1st.
Yep.
But everyone also knows that February is where 80% of them die off.
Fall off February.
Fall off quick, you know. And every gym in America is smiling.
Yeah.
Because they're getting free money.
Yep, free money. Yeah. So what's gonna be, or what do you think the goal for our podcast should be this year? What do you think is one of the big goals we should try to hit?
1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm with that.
1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'd like to see 1,000 followers on all the social media platforms.
Yep.
I think that's a good mark.
Yeah.
And then continuing to get quality guests on
Right.
that are providing value to the marketplace.
Yep.
Is my biggest focus for the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think as it grows, man, people are seeing what we're doing, and they understand that it's not just, we're not just out here just to be out here. You know, we're really trying to provide value.
Yeah, yeah, providing lessons learned from not only ourselves but everybody else too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 on all social media. I like that, man, because we tried to shoot for that last year, our first year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we for at least for YouTube. I mean, we didn't even get halfway, but we did hit. I think it was like 170, which is I mean, that was still pretty good,
a tenth
man.
of a percent.
Yeah,
a tenth of that percent that we wanted to hit.
So we're almost there. We're almost there, man. What about personally? You have any new goals that you're trying to hit, or is it still, like you said, just a continuation of last year?
It's a continuation of last year. I think becoming a better man is top on my list.
Right.
Because what I've realized about just for myself is when I'm going to the gym, when I'm making sure that my mind is right, and when I'm focused on becoming a better man, everything else falls into place.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's one of the reasons why, I proposed. It's because I knew it was going to challenge me in ways that I've never been challenged. You know, I love my fiance.
Right.
Marriage is something I'm afraid of, but,
right.
We've said on this podcast time and time again, you run towards the things that you're afraid of.
Yeah,
because on the other side, that's where you want to be.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because you got to find out what's on the other side of that door, man.
Yeah. What about yourself, man? What do you got going on for yourself for this year?
So I'm the same as you. So I like to, like, because my mom asked me that too. Like, what are your New Year's resolutions? I was like, I don't have resolutions. I just continue the goals from last year, and then just try to build on them every year. So like I'm just literally striving for those same things, which is personally is just becoming better. Reading more, and then goals. There's always financial goals that I have. There's always real estate goals that I have. So I'm just continuing all that from last year, and then everything I've learned from doing this podcast, I just want to take that to another level too.
Right.
Because like finding out some of these secrets that these others are using, even though they're not secrets, they're pretty obvious. But just hearing it, I just like, I'm like, man, yeah, I just got to keep going. So the gym is always there. Obviously, want to be in better shape, eating better. But I've been doing that for a few years. So like, eating better has been a lot easier. I don't really have to make it a goal anymore. It's just kind of, just staying on course.
Right.
Don't fall off.
Right. So it's like the foundation for all of it is discipline.
Discipline, man.
Right. Because then it makes it. I mean, when the New Year's come around, it's like I've been doing this already. So
right.
Now it's just fine tuning and tweaking things here and there.
Yep. Yep. And then, so what would you say is the best way for everybody else? Maybe some people do have resolutions, or maybe they're kind of like us. They're setting new goals to try to be better every year, or whatever the case may be. Aside from discipline, because you kind of mentioned discipline already, what is the best way for somebody to kind of stay on course and completing those resolutions or those goals?
Removing distractions.
Which is?
Whether that be going out, smoking, drinking.
Yeah.
If you're a person that doesn't do good if you've got snacks at the house,
right? Don't
keep them at the house. Don't buy them at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Telling yourself no.
Yep.
When it comes to stuff like that. Sometimes it's tough to do, but you may have to isolate yourself a little more.
Yeah.
So you can check in with yourself and make sure that you're staying on that path.
Yep.
I know for myself, I'm naturally more introverted than extroverted. So I really need my alone time and my alone space.
Yeah.
Because that helps me recharge. That
Right.
helps me refocus. My fiance, she's the exact opposite. She's naturally extroverted.
Yeah.
So, and she comes from a big family. So her being around her family recharges her. Her spending time with them recharges her.
Right.
And I think you have to know what kind of person you are, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert.
Right.
That will determine how you should go about your New Year's resolutions, or just staying on course for different things.
Yeah, I like that, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm more of on the So I'm on the reverse engineering side. So
Ah.
like, you know, I'm big on like seeing what the vision is, you know, and then working my way backwards, you know, and then because and then for me, at least the way like my brain works, everything you said makes sense and it matches to what I'm doing. But like in my brain, I have to do it backwards.
Makes sense.
So then I run into those things. I'm like, all right, well, in order to get to this part, I got to remove distractions. In order to get to this part, I got to isolate.
Right.
You know, so so I think, like I said, if you got two ways there. You got what Malcolm said. You can if that's like, man, I don't know, that doesn't make sense. Then you know, kind of think of it more like me. If you're whatever your goal is at the end goal is, then just reverse it back.
For sure.
Because that whole isolation thing. I was talking to Tev.
Oh, dope.
You know, shout out Tev.
Yep. Shout out to
I don't know
Tev.
if you saw his story.
I haven't. No.
But he put on his story, you know, like he reflected on his year.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was talking about going into like, you know, isolating or basically like it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get a hold of me this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm, you know, he's going into a different frequency now. Like,
Right.
You know,
I love it.
Yeah, man. I told him, I was like, man, when I did it, it was, people started to feel a certain way.
Right.
You know, it's like
But you can't worry about that, man.
and I think that's the toughest part for people.
That
when you
is
start
it.
to do it.
Yeah, that is. Because you have to be okay with being misunderstood.
Right.
That just comes with growth.
Yeah.
In any shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
You know, you are going to be misunderstood. Sometimes it's by your friends, sometimes it's by your family. But as long as you know deep down in your heart that goal that you're focused on,
Yep,
is where you need to get to,
yep.
then everything else doesn't really matter. You
Yeah.
know, but initially it is tough.
Oh yeah,
It is tough. You know, because I think it's human to want to receive acknowledgement from others.
Right.
So by isolating yourself, sometimes you miss out on that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, that's true, man. That's true. So yeah, Tev and I had that little conversation. I was like, man, I hope you get to them goals, man.
He
'cause
will.
You'll get there quicker when you do it that way.
He will. No, Tev's a good dude.
Tev's
man.
a good dude, man.
He'll get there. It takes
Yeah.
patience, man. It takes patience. You know.
Yeah. Like everything, man. Everything takes patience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. So coming up, obviously when this podcast gets released, it's gonna be MLK Day.
True.
You
January 15th.
January 15th is when this will be dropping, so they'll be
Right.
hearing it.
Right.
So what's because that's the other side of your heritage. What's MLK Day mean to you?
Martin Luther King Day specifically. I mean, I don't really. What I want to say is like I don't. Just because it's Martin Luther King Day doesn't mean that like, I think you should only just look up Martin Luther King stuff that particular day.
Right.
I think it's a reminder of what a human being can do when they are focused on their purpose, right? When they are determined, when they are not worried about what other people think.
Yeah.
When they have a goal that they're chasing after and that's their only focus. When I think of Martin Luther King Day, I think of all the sacrifices that were made. I think of the problems that had to be overcome during that time period.
Yeah.
It's a time period in which my grandfather was alive for, and experienced. That's one of the reasons why I'm here in Aurora today, is because my grandfather made a conscious choice to move north from Mississippi during that time period to get away from everything that was happening.
Right.
So it's just something that, reminds me that, hey, your parents and grandparents have come a long way.
Yeah.
Never forget your history and never forget where you came from.
Right.
I think Martin Luther King Jr. himself taught, principles of not just unity, but also almost in a sense biblical or Jesus-like principles.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, let's come together.
Right.
Nobody's better than anybody.
Right.
We should all be treated the same.
Right.
Turn the other cheek. You don't have to have a reaction to everything.
Yeah.
And if you truly, 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 truly want change, you got to use the power of the people.
Yeah.
I think that's something that in this country, time and time again, we see how easy it is to divide and conquer.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate because, especially I always say if the black and the brown community Bro, if we work together, man, we'd be dangerous.
Yeah, man, it'd
We'd
be a problem
dangerous
out here.
But yeah, so that's what I think about when I think of Martin Luther King Day. I try to reflect about all those things, and I try to remind myself to walk as best as I can in the light.
Yeah.
And try to become a better man.
So what's the skill or skills, plural, that you think you could take away from MLK and apply it to 2024?
Networking, delegating. You can't do anything alone.
Right.
If you're trying to achieve, especially if you're trying to achieve something of that magnitude.
Right.
You need people, right?
Yeah.
You need the right people around
Right.
you. Something a lot of people don't, I won't necessarily say don't know, but I think forget about is that during that movement, women's rights and women's liberation were also attached and a part of that.
Yeah.
A lot of amazing things happened for women because of some of the things that he was doing and pushing for.
Right.
During that time period, you had Martin Luther King, you had Malcolm X,
Yeah.
you had Muhammad Ali,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yeah.
You had there's a football player who used to play for the Cleveland Browns, Joe Brown.
Yeah.
You had Sam Cooke.
Yep.
I mean, you had some really, really, really legendary men around that time period who were all trying to help each other achieve one goal.
Yeah.
There was no selfishness.
Yeah.
It was understanding that there's a bigger cause.
Right.
That we all need to be a part of.
Right.
So that's what
I
I would say, man.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And I think like I had a question
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, oh, maybe somebody would ask this because you know how we say we need people, network,
Right.
but we also talk about isolation.
Right.
But what we don't want to get confused is when you are in isolation and you're just working on yourself. This takes us back to one of our first few episodes. Where you end up finding your tribe. So it's like,
right.
although you're in isolation,
Right.
you might find another person who's doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So then for you guys to come together, it's not like going with a group of people to the bar. It's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
You guys are in sync and you guys are doing the same thing, but you guys are also not distracting each other.
Right. You're on a different frequency.
Right.
And two people on the same frequency can get way more done.
Right.
Than 10 people not on the same frequency.
Right. Yeah.
So sometimes less is more.
Yep. Yeah, what's that like? TikTok? Give me 3 motherfuckers.
Oh yeah,
That's
Joey Diaz, Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Shout out to Uncle Joey.
Yeah, so and like for me, man, I think you touched on it, courage from MLK and just be willing to just walk that path, man.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Right.
And having that confidence like he had.
Yeah, man.
You know?
And I think you get that from knowing who you are.
Right.
Right. And the way you find out who you are is through strategic isolation.
Yep.
You got to spend that quality time with yourself.
Yeah.
So that way, no matter who says what,
yeah,
you're a solid individual.
Yep.
And Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't perfect.
No.
I mean, he made mistakes, man.
Right.
I mean, he was known as a womanizer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
But I think that every human being, man or woman, is flawed in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And that's why we all deserve grace.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, man.
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
With that, we'll take a quick break.
Cool.
All right, and we're back from the break. So we were touching on MLK
Uh-huh.
and his whole vision and everything now.
Right.
So 2024, it's a big year we had. So we just finished Jordan's year. Now we're in Kobe's year.
Mamba.
And the Mamba year. But with MLK, do you think his vision is closer? Do you think we're closer to having his vision completed now than we have ever been, or do you think we are further away, still far, far away from achieving MLK's vision?
I think we're closer when people really look underneath the hood, But I think from the outside, it may not look like it, The reason why I say that is because I think right now, especially here in America, man, like with the cost of living and everything, everybody's struggling for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a small group of people that are living in a very comfortable position where they don't have to care who's the president. They don't have to care whether it's a Democrat, whether it's a Republican.
Right.
They can just move as free as they want to.
Yep.
But for the average American who are pretty much living paycheck to paycheck or somewhere around there,
yeah,
we're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may live in a different and maybe a little nicer home or a better school district, but you're still struggling.
Oh, yeah.
You're still trying to find a way to live day to day. And I think those are the things that, not just I'm not saying the struggling aspect is what unites us, but it's we all have problems.
Right.
We all have people that you love, that you care about.
Yep.
We all lose people that we love and we care about.
Yep.
We all try to work hard so that we can live a better life, not only for ourselves, but for our families.
Right.
So in that way, man, I think we're closer than ever.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I'm kind of in the middle. So like how I was telling you, Vivek, the one who's running for president on the Republican side, I saw one of his videos and he says that he also believes that we're closer than we've ever been to achieving MLK's vision. But at the same time, he feels that whoever the powers that be, whoever they are, they, he
the
thinks,
pronouns.
Yeah. He believes that they are trying to write some other narrative to separate us once again.
I agree.
Because I saw another video where people in the city of Chicago, black people specifically, they were talking about how they are done with the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
They're done with the mayor of Chicago. They're done with the governor.
Right.
And because they are, because they say like the government's not doing what they were promised, you know, and then they're giving all this money away to, people who aren't from here.
Right.
Right. And I think in that case, that is bringing us together because, black and brown people, we're the ones who probably struggle the most for the most part.
Right.
So I think that's why I agree. Like, I think, yes, we are closer, but then it's almost like, man, well, what's going to happen? Because then you see like the Palestinians, the whole thing with that.
Right.
They're all like getting together. So now it's like, all right, so if you put brown, black together,
right.
I mean, what happens?
Well, I think
because we're technically we're like the majority together.
We will be. Yes, we will be eventually. We will be.
So it's almost, I wonder, like if it does happen, which would be great, because I mean, for the longest, us growing up, like for some reason, brown and black people didn't like each other. I mean, I don't know what it was, but but now if we start to, work together.
Yeah, well, I think it's programming. I think that was the design from those that are pulling the strings from behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Right. It's that they made brown and black people believe that there's only one slice of cake, and you guys need to fight over it.
Right.
While they have the other 75% of the cake.
Yeah.
And they're just eating as much as they want, and they're throwing the cake away.
Yeah.
They don't even care. That's how much cake they got. They don't even care. They just throw it away.
Right.
And so it's a programming mechanism.
Yeah.
And anybody who's done any research on how to control a people,
right?
You do it with the mind,
right?
There's a reason why they didn't want slaves to read.
Right.
There's a reason why in certain parts of America they don't put an emphasis on education. Education is everything.
Yep.
The more you know, the more you can help your community, the better off your community will be.
Yeah.
And man, it's to the point that you brought up. I mean, the issues that are happening right now in Chicago with the black people and the immigrants that are coming in.
Right.
In a way, that's no different than what's happening in Gaza, in Palestine.
Yeah.
The Jewish community post what happened with Adolf Hitler and all of that.
Right.
Needed somewhere to go.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And the Palestinians and those people in the Middle East and that portion and region of the world were willing to, try to the best of their ability, make some space and make some way. But because of thousands, if not hundreds of years of fighting, they bump heads.
Yeah, you're gonna bump heads. Yeah.
They're not going to agree. But the unfortunate part is that, You know, if they only were to both take a step back and see that, hey, man, and I'm not saying, I shouldn't say that both sides need to take a step back, but I mean from the outside looking in.
Right. Yeah, because we don't know the details.
I don't know all the little details. I don't. But what I do know is there's people on the either side that are losing people that they love and they care about.
Right.
And that's what unites us.
Yeah, that's what we do know.
That's what we do know. Yeah. You know, and I think that I remember listening to a podcast with Elon Musk where he discussed that the only way to fix a problem of that magnitude is that one side has to continue doing extreme amounts of kindness.
Yeah.
So even though you know, it's unfortunate, man. It's honestly, it's tough to talk about,
right?
Because like people are dying and have died.
Yeah.
But the only way to fix it would be, let's just say, if you're one side and I'm the other, is for me to keep showing up to you and saying, hey, man, look, I cannot make up for the fact that what happened before, what happened to your father and my grandfather. I can't make up for that.
Right.
What happened to your father and your grandfather. I can't control that. But what we can control is right now, you and me agreeing that this will never happen again.
Right.
You have kids that you love and you care about. I got kids that I love and I care about.
Right.
We can respectfully disagree on certain things, but we don't need to kill each other.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
There's enough room for everybody.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
But it's really, really, really tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And on the human level, I think if we're being completely honest, here in America, we've done an amazing job in numbing ourselves from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You know, because we get so caught up in our little everyday to day life that we kind of forget that there's other people around the world that are struggling. Right. You know? And so I do, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I see both sides of every argument almost. Right. I'm willing to remain objective. I'm willing to remain neutral and understand that, I could understand the frustration from the black people saying, like, hey, you guys are sending all this money over here. Yep. Right? Or Americans, as for that sense. You guys are sending all this money to Poland. Right. You guys are sending all this money to the Middle East. Right. When people here bust their ass every single day. Yeah. Every single day. Right. To barely make it. Yep. That's not right either. Yeah. That's not right either.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, man. And that's why, like, you know, I say, like, the we are close. But I don't know if these outside factors are gonna push us away. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, people are going to be like, well, I got to worry about, you know, mine. I got to worry about me. You know, or I got to worry about my family, whatever the case may be. Right. So, I don't know, man. It's, you know, I think MLK it's crazy that it's been so long ago and it's still here, you know, like it's still talked about. Mm-hmm. But his, I don't know, man. His vision is definitely a hard one it's going to be hard to complete, I think.
For sure. Because, I mean, unfortunately, right, those visionaries, those leaders were all killed purposefully by design because they were bringing people together. Right. You know, so the powers that be, I mean.
Man, I hope they don't take us, man. They're going to come look for us because we trying to bring everybody together.
Right,
man.
But, hey, what is this collection about?
Right.
Faith over fear.
Faith over fear,
We're not
baby.
afraid of that.
We ain't afraid, man. Because, you know, it's like, you know, Pac and Biggie, they were the same way. Yep. You know, so.
No, you can't. The thing is, you may be able to kill a person, but you cannot kill an idea, or you cannot kill a movement. Right. So regardless of who it is that they try to take out, there's gonna be another one. Yeah. You cut off one head, there's gonna pop 3 more are gonna pop up. Right. So it's a never-ending, I guess you could say, dance between good and evil. Yep. You know, and I think as we've all gotten older, we realize that it's not going anywhere. Yep. You know. But you have to wake up every day, man, and just try and be a better version of you. Yep. That's it.
Yeah, and that was the theme. That's the theme of the podcast today, man. It's just, you know, we talked about the holidays. That's coming together. Yeah. You know, our New Year's goals. You know, we talked about being disciplined, and then even then coming together. Mm-hmm. You might need a partner in crime to do it. Right. Yeah. You know, and then we got MLK's vision. That's just kind of tying it all together. Yeah. You know, and then you got the podcast here, man. You know, whenever you guys hit us up, man.
Yeah, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This, like I said, you know, like we said, this is our first episode of the new year. Yeah. We were super excited to come in here and shoot for you guys today. Yep. All we ask is that you continue to share this with as many people as you can. If you can, go and buy a hat, go and buy a hoodie, Go buy a beanie. We always appreciate the support. And with that being said, man, we will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.